Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemal Shai Bashum Kakwadash. Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. And I'm going to entitle this video, If the Nation's Drunk of the Cup, or if the nation drunk of her cup, will they burn too? So I'm back again dealing with this video that I did. The MOTB has been with us way back when we were in slavery. Originally, I was going to call Since We Were in Slavery. I said, let me just change it up a little bit. Way back when we were in slavery. So this is Lamb backing off the video that was put up by IUIC. And that at the end of my video, I don't know how far he went in his video, because I stopped at around about the slavery part when he said the MOTB, you know what I mean. He says DeMarc has been here, for a long time, and he goes into the fact that Jake and slavery had the mark for the MOTB. Let me see if I can find a picture. Give me a second here. So we didn't get body bagged by the IUIC. We didn't get body bagged. We didn't get body bagged. So them guys got, we body bagged GMS. We body bagged them. No, you didn't body bag. He didn't body bag a damn thing. Okay. So I don't know how long I'm going to make this. This will probably be short. Let's see where the spirit takes me. So he's going into, the man, I have M to the A to the R to the K, been here for years. It was here during the time of captivity. So, we go back to 2014, 2013, around there. He said it's not talking about people getting the mark. It's talking about nations and corporations. Big nations and small nations. Great nations and weak nations. Rich nations and small nations. So now they switched it up and they say, now people can get it, but it's sin. But it's sin. So they have it. Each and every one of these individuals have it according to IUIC. So my question is this: they went into this, the new jewel that Bishop, I'm sorry, I had to get used to saying General Netanyahu got. He did it his last week's Saturday class. He pulled out a new one concerning the woman with the cup in her hand and on her forehead. And the cup in her hand has nothing to do with the mark in Revelation 13. There's nothing, two different things. Because cup would actually translate, if you go back to the root of the word, it'd be charagma and so forth. So that's not it. That has nothing to do with it. She's going to deceive the people, but she's going to get it herself. And like I said, you got to tell me who's going to get it. Is it a corporation that's going to get it? Is it a country? And where is the country's right hand or left hand or forehead? Where's the forehead of a country? It's not talking about that. That MARK is talking about an actual physical device about the size of a grain of rice that will go into your body, which is called the scientific term, medical term, technological term is biometrics. Look that up. Anybody uses the term, anytime you come across the term biometrics, you know that it's something that has to do with your body. Like now you can be scanned, retina scan, face scan, fingerprint scan in your phone, in your smartphone, That's biometrics because you're using your body to access your phone. And metrics just means measure. Everything that you do in science, when you're putting you know, pharmaceuticals, everything has to do with metrics, which is measure, which is math. You need so many cc's of this and so many cc's of that. What's the term? You have milligrams, you have micrograms. That's all measure. You see? So anyway, let's go with Revelation 17 about the woman, which is Babylon, having a cup in her hand and written on her forehead, Mystery Babylon, the great mother of the harlot, abomination of the earth. So she got it. Let's go with that. Let's go with what the IUIC is saying right now. So let me go to Revelation. Chapter 17. So I typed in the word find, I typed in fornication, fornication. Let me do this. Let me go to 18. Fornication is also in Revelation 18. So we're going to read these verses here. Now, if you say that's all you GMS guys know how to do is do videos on the MOTV, why don't you go into the law? If you don't like it, just move on, okay? So it says, and this is only for the elect anyway. This is not for all Israel. So if you can't see it, you're not meant to see it. So let's go to Revelation 17 and 2. The headline is The Doom of Babylon. As you can see, that's a victory over the Lamb. Victory for the Lamb. The Lamb represents Yahushua. So it says, second verse, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Where did they get the wine from? They got it from her cup. They sipped out of her cup. Fourth verse, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of a what? Of a fornication. Let's come back to the second verse. With whom the kings of the earth, the leaders of the nations, have committed fornication, drunk the wine out of a cup. Now it's symbolic. She doesn't have a big cup of wine and everybody's sipping out of it. It's talking about you went to bed with the whore. That's why she's called a whore, because different men go lay with that woman, that whore. So the U.S. is the great whore. So let's go to the 18th chapter. And by the way, so you can get it right, this right here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm almost positive, IUIC said this is talking about when how they say when the white man came over here. No, this is talking about the aftermath of Babylon being destroyed, which is the U.S. So it says, for all nations have what? Have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Where did they get the wine from? They got it, they sipped it from her cup in Revelation 17. So these guys said the cup in the hand equates to Revelation 13, 16, 17. The charagma, or the mark, means the same thing. That's used car salesman, a fast talk from a used car salesman. For all nations have what? Drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication by drinking of her cup, drinking and sipping that wine with her. And merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Babylon falling. Lament for Babylon. So these nations that drunk of a cup are going to lament for Babylon, mainly because of the money, because it's a fake. You know, you get with a hoe, you pop her, you get sexual satisfaction, sexual healing, as Marvin Gaye said, and you move on. You don't love her like a wife. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication, sipped of her wine, Revelation 17, and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So, what is this, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, Kamala Harris went to Uganda. I believe she went to another couple other African countries. I think she went to Ghana. But the main part of the trip was to go to Ghana to push that human rights things and that human right policy. Everybody has human rights. And she was talking specifically about happy people because Uganda has a law that says if anybody's a happy person, the penalty is death. It's the death penalty. So she came over there with a checkbook that she was willing to give Uganda, because the focus is on Uganda. Let's just call it Africa. $60 million. With $60 million is chump change. Now, if you got a corrupt leader, he'll get the 60 million. He might give 10 million to the people, and he got $50 million. So he you ain't never made that type of money, So they turned it down. So these nations are turning against you, even though ultimately they sipped of your wine cup because people are voted in. There's no kings in Africa. If there's a king in Africa, it's ceremonial. It's not a real. They don't make any real decisions. It's the Parliament, the Senate. Like over here, we got the Senate. England, you got Great Britain, you got the Parliament. You got the members of Parliament, which is anytime you see MP in the news, it's talking about members of Parliament. But that's all the democracy, right? So when did the nations sip of her cup of wine and lay with her? When they accepted Esau's democracy, and it has nothing to do with Christianity. You can be an atheist. You can follow Buddha. You got Arab nations that don't follow Caesar Borgia. They follow Allah, but they still sip of this woman's cup. So now let's go over here to Revelation 14. And let's go to the 9th verse. Doom of the worshipers of the beast. The beast is when you say the woman is connected to the beast. The woman would be the U.S. The beast would be the EU nations and NATO nations, which the woman is a part of the beast of the NATO system. So they're all connected. But she sits as a queen over them. Every focus is on America, right? So it says, let me go right to the point. All right, 9th verse. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark, which is sip of that wine from that cup, Revelation 17, in his forehead or in his hand. Well, in 17, it says her. The same shall what? The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, righteous anger. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. So it says anybody that partook of that sipping of that wine have committed fornication, have accepted her policies. Guess what? They got the mark pursuant to the way you break down Revelation 17. They would have the mark. They would have the charagma, right? But they're actually going to get the real charagma, the way we teach it. So it says anybody that does it, they're going to be destroyed by fire. Fire and brimstone and the smoke of her torment. So what does Revelation 18 mean when it said they stood afar off? Let's go back to that. Let me put in the word smoke. Y'all don't want that smoke. Smoke. Okay, smoke. Lamentation for the Babylon. For Babylon. And the kings of the earth, the leaders of the various nations. And I'm gonna give you a list of all these kings of the earth that have sipped of her wine, who have committed fornication, sipped of her wine, Revelation 17, and lived deliciously. I'll use the example of Kamala Harris with a $60 million check so that it won't put happy people to death with her. And they said, no, shall bewail her. That's the weak nation saying that they're strong. Joel 3. And lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Why are they going to lament? Because they ain't going to get no more money. China's going to be crying their ass off. Not because they give a damn about America, but they're going to lose money. But they're going to find out they're going into captivity anyway. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city, which is America? This is the great consumer of the world. People became billionaires were produced in China. There's almost 500 billionaires in China. Thanks to who? Thanks to America. Thanks to this consumer-based nation. So now, this is what I want to do. I'm going to make this short. These are the kings of the earth that committed fornication with her through the UN. The UN is not the beast. The UN is not Babylon the Great, but the UN is in Babylon the Great. And the UN consists of NATO nations and all nations. So all of them, they're going to get that mark, but they're not going to be burnt with fire. So let's go down the list. Member states of the UN. Afghanistan, I thought that was a terrorist state. Albania, Algeria, Angola, that's in Africa, Antigua, Bermuda, the West, the West Indian countries, Argentina, Latin American country, Australia, Azerbaijan, Bahamas, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belarus, that's in Russia. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if the Russians are on this list here. Let's come on down. So they, at one time or another, they all sipped of that cup. QR, I'm sorry, QR. Russian Federation. Ooh, Russian Federation, right? Is that the actual? Yep, Russian Federation. You know when they joined the UN, when the U back in right after at the end of World War II. So they were one of the first on the list. Like you got Republic of Korea, which is 1991. Remember, you had a South Korea and North Korea, and this is South Korea. Samoa, Senegal, which is in Africa, South Africa, South Sudan. Oh, Esau broke that up, and he calls it the. It was once called the Sudan. The Sudan. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you how this double works. The Sudan, which there was no South or North Sudan. The Sudan became a member in 1956, but the South Sudan became a member in 2011. We're talking what, 12 years ago? What was that? 12, 13, 12 years ago. Well, wait a minute. Isn't South Sudan a part of Sudan? No, Esau broke it up. Anytime you see a South this and a North that means Esau was behind it. Esau was behind it. And so they work with the South Sudan because Sudan wouldn't work with them. You have a civil war right now, which, by the way, the Sudan is part of the UN. So where are the UN troops? The UN was set up to so there'll be no more wars. So you have a UN troops. Where's the UN troops? Thailand, Togo, Trinidad and Tobago, Uganda. All of Uganda, they became members in 1962, but they're doing their own thing. We're killing it. But what they accepted was the cup that they accepted, that the wine that they sipped was democracy. All of them are elected officials. And you don't, if you don't do nothing as a prime minister or leader of a country, they get rid of you. And they'll get a puppet leader up in there. It's the United States of America, 1945. And that was, I believe, I'm not going to look it up. That was a year that prior to World War II, there was the World Reserve, the World Reserve currency was based in Great Britain, the UK. As of the end of World War II, this status went to the US, the World Reserve currency, which is now called the petrodollar, meaning if two countries outside of the US buy gas, one country A buys gas from country B, they have to convert their money to the US dollar or the Federal Reserve note, and then they can make the purchase with the other country. So they have to buy and sell in Federal Reserve notes, which they don't want to do because the central bank, the Fed, they, they bring up the value of the money, through inflation and deflation. So you lose money. Sometimes you gain money, but sometimes you lose money because of this thing called inflation or we're not in hyperinflation yet. We're in inflation. Venezuela, Vietnam. Wait a minute. Vietnam became a member in 1977. That was right after the Vietnam conflict. But they won the war and they're communists. But guess what? Communist nations can be a part of the UN because they all drunk of the sippy cup of the hua, right? So I don't gotta look. My question is this: pursuant to Revelation 14:9, it says anybody that committed fornication or drunk of that wine, drunk from that cup, is going to burn. Why does it say in Revelation 18 they're going to look afar off from the fear of a torment and see the smoke billowing up? Now I know why they're not going to get burnt, even if they take the charagma. The people that takes the charagma, which is the microchip, the ones that's going to be destroyed are the people that take the charagma that dwell in America, because America is going to be, in any other country that get hit with certain, but then you got the rest of the nation, they're going to have it. So what's going to happen? I don't know. The scriptures doesn't tell you that we're going to line them up and we're going to pull the chips out, but we're going to put them into captivity. But in the kingdom of heaven, when they're working out in the field, they're not going to have that chip in them. But there's no scripture on that as to what's going to happen to the ones that took the chip that did not get destroyed, because the people that's going to be destroyed by accepting the M to the A to the R to the K are the people in America. So if you live in a European country, a neutral country, let's say Australia, they say Australia is a neutral country. There's a lot of the rich are going to escape the destruction by going to Australia. Mind you, as of now, that's supposed to be a neutral country, Australia. You're going to have people in Australia that got the charagma. So like I said, the scripture doesn't say what we're going to do. We're not going to line them up and just chop their heads off. I see, and we'll see that there's going to be something that's going to happen, that they'll get the device pulled out of them or whatever happens. The scripture doesn't tell us that. The scripture doesn't tell us what's going to happen at the aftermath, what's going to happen with the people. The only ones that's going to get destroyed are the ones that take it, that are living in America, because that's the place that's going to be destroyed. That's the lake of fire. It's not an eternal hell. The lake of fire is a bird's eye view of John, the Most High showing John, John the apostle, looking down on the U.S. He saw the U.S. He saw visions of the U.S. He saw World War I. He saw Third World War II. He saw World War III. He saw people sitting down getting chipped. So anyway, that's all I have to say. So we didn't get body bag. Okay, try again. Shalom.